Hello again and welcome to my hobby table. So who's up for some engine talk and a mystery box? Right when I thought there would be no more mystery boxes for 2025, my buddy Jeremy sends me a mystery box. Now, I have a really good idea what's in this mystery box because we talked about it. And there's a bit of a story that goes along with it. As usual, let me get something over here because I'm going to need this to talk about this mystery box. So let's just open this mystery box up and I'll show you what Jeremy sent to me. It's easier said than done, I think. Okay, so there are two engines in this box. There is this one. I'm just going to take the other one out and then we'll discuss these. Neither of these are engines that I have featured on my channel, which is why Jeremy so graciously purchased these for me. So I'm saying thank you, Jeremy, for the Christmas gifts, because that's basically what these are. They're incredible. So this one here is a Magnum 40A2 engine. And the funny thing with this story is that a while, or 2 weeks ago or so, Jeremy texted me and said, hey, do you happen to have a muffler for a Magnum engine? And when he asked me that, I was thinking, well, he's got a Magnum engine he wants to sell. So I went digging around and I was looking and I found an exhaust that would fit this Magnum, and I'll get to that. But this is the engine that he sent to me. It's a brand new, never run Magnum 40 ABC engine, Magnum 42A ABC engine. As you can see, it's got the remote needle valve. So its the older brother is the 46, or older brother, bigger brother is the 46. So that kind of ties into, let me move this box out of the way for a minute. That ties into what, because when Jeremy said, do you have a muffler for it? I was like, oh, he needs a muffler for an engine. So I was like, well, I do. I've got a muffler and it's in this box. But this box is not really a Royal engine. I wish it was a Royal 46 ABC, but it's not. This was one I got in a Facebook Marketplace deal, and it only had an exhaust from this Royal engine and maybe like the tool set and a high-speed needle or something like that, but there was no engine. So I happen to have, and it came with instructions, I happen to have just rebuilt a Magnum XL46 2 engine, and these screws are out because it has a remote needle valve. I had just put new bearings in this thing, Boca bearings, and rebuilt it. So I was thinking, well, if he needs an exhaust, which is what this is the exhaust for the Royal engine. Doesn't say Royal anywhere on it, but it's, you know, basically a clone of the OS, I think 873s. I was like, well, you know, I'll just send him this engine and this exhaust, and then he'll have everything he needs. Because I was just going to give this to Jeremy as a gift. And see, here's the only other thing this box originally came with was the exhaust, the instructions, the tools, and high-speed needle and muffler. So I was like, well, I'll just give this to Jeremy. Well, then he comes back and says, I was like, here, I can just send you this. I shot him a little video saying, here, I got this whole package. I can just send it to you. And he's like, no, I didn't want it for me. I just wanted to know if you had an exhaust because I got an engine for you. And I was like, oh, well, that's a different story then. Okay, well, so that's kind of how that happened. So Jeremy ended up getting this, the Magnum 40 engine, and then because he was curious, he had asked me about this about a month or so ago. He was asking me, had you done any 40 size two-stroke comparisons lately? And I was like, well, not with these engines. So this is an ASP 40 RC engine. Now, determining, so it came with, I took that stuff out already, it came with the instructions. This is a new in-box engine. And I just lost my train of thought so looking at the box, so I'm used to seeing these things being blue, But what I'm wondering is the vintage of this still looks like it's an early ASP engine, and I'm wondering if the black ones were actually the ones that were sold in Europe and Asia. Because every other ASP engine of this vintage, which would be the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, I think is when they first came out. I'd have to double check the Clarence Lee review article. They were blue boxes. And so I don't know, because if you look at the vintage of this engine, and this is exactly like the very first Mag or ASP that I bought, it was in the 80s, was in like 1988. This is exactly how it looked, except the box was blue, and it was distributed by Indy RC. This is distributed by World Engines. So does that predate the Indy RC? Because I'm pretty sure that mine were distributed by World Engines, or maybe or moved through Indy RC. I don't know, something like that. But look at this. This is a true ABC engine. I can't even turn it over because this is all, it's kind of stuck up in there. But this is a beautiful engine. I always was impressed with the ASP 46 engines because I had several of them. And I can't imagine this one being any worse than those, because, I mean, they even had bronze bushed glow plug holes. True ABC metallurgy. I mean, these are nice engines. I like these engines a lot better than the last version of ASPs that were being sold by Sanye in the 2000s, because I thought those were really crap. Now, this engine did not come like this with a hanger. So this was purchased independently, because it says here ASP 46A. So this is not the same vintage as this engine. I'm wondering, does it have screws? It may not have any exhaust screws in here. Let's look and see. Oh, it doesn't. I'll have to get some exhaust screws for that. I'm going to put it like this. This is actually how it should be in there. So this is awesome. So Jeremy was saying, hey, I want to see a 40 size, 40 size two-stroke shootout in the near future. And I was like, well, you know, this was like a month or so ago. I said, we're coming close to, you know, fall and winter, and I can't guarantee anything like that. I said, besides, I don't have any 40 size engines. And of course, now I do. Thank you very much, Jeremy. So this is awesome. Like, who can ever be not excited about a new in-box engine? This is just incredible. So I got two, and that was like an FSR style connection here on these, so it's going to require short screws. I've got screws. I got all kinds of screws I can use for that, so that's not going to be a big deal. So this is awesome. So that was the mystery box. Now this is an engine talk video. I want to talk about another engine that I also got today from Facebook Marketplace. Somebody take away my Facebook account, because when I see things like this, I just kind of can't help myself. This is an engine I've never had before, and it's incredibly shiny, and maybe that's why it attracted me. This is a 1977 K&B 35 engine. RC, because it's got RC. Now, I don't believe that this exhaust was stock, because it's a strap-on, and let me show you how I discovered what this engine was, because I have this book that a very awesome man gave to me years ago. I can't read his name here. I can't remember what his name was, but he gave me this book, and this was incredible. So this, wouldn't it be wonderful? I digress a little bit. So I've got two of these. One is volume 1, and it doesn't go all the way up to this, but this one's volume 2. An index of production North American model power plants. Wouldn't it be awesome to have a book like this that covered Asia and Europe? I mean, maybe they exist, but I've never seen one. To have one that had all the Inyas and Satos and OSs and all that, that would, Webra, I mean, that would be incredible. I'm not as familiar with the American model engines. I mean, this is a huge book, and of course 90% of these I've never even heard of. But what I was able to come up with was I found out exactly more about, a little bit more, so you don't have a whole lot of information here, but a little bit more about this engine, and it's right here. Right here. Number 136. K&B 35RC, April 1977. Same as Series 75. It's a plain bearing shiny case 35, but with die-cast aluminum carburetor as used on the K&B Veco 19. Engines not serialized, steel sleeve with Dykes ring piston. So that's what this is. And it's got compression. It's got characteristic in play that a plain bearing engine would have, so it makes this sound. But it's just impeccable. I took the rear cover off because the fellow I bought it from, he said it was a buddy of his that passed away and crashed it or something, but it doesn't look like it has ever been run to me. I don't know if he cleaned it up or what, but this cover was on wrong and the screws are loose, so I just popped them out and rotated this cover the correct way, and it looks pristine in there. The only thing that I had to do was this carb was stuck, so I had to oil it and heat it up and get it freed up. But so this is an air bleed carb, little bitty air bleed carb here, and never, this engine didn't show that it ever came with an exhaust, but this is a really cool exhaust because I don't know what these are called, but it's nice. It looks like somebody's maybe polished this up or something, or maybe it came like that. I don't know. All I know is this whole thing is shiny and cool, and it's got compression. So, man, wait till March or April comes. I bet you this thing makes a lot of noise, and this one will be a fun one to run. And it's so pretty, I might just find another spot here on my table just to leave it out. It came obviously just like this with this old, I think these are old torpedo propellers or something like that. I can't quite read. It's white, so it's hard to read what that prop is. But boy, just a neat little K&B engine. And I'm really not a super big K&B fan, but when an engine's shiny, I like shiny. So this is really a cool deal, and it was quite affordable. I was sitting there watching it on Marketplace, and of course on Marketplace it's like people get impatient. It's like they ask this much, and it was like almost 3 digits for it, and I was like, nah. So I hit save on it, wait another few days, and the price starts going down, and then it gets down to the point where I'm like, okay, for a 20-minute drive, I'll go pay $50 for this thing. And I've seen some of these listed on eBay for a lot more than that. Not like I plan on selling it unless somebody really got a woody to have this, then maybe we can make a deal, but this is kind of a cool K&B engine, and it's a plain bearing engine. Take about 5 seconds to take apart if I so desired to do that, but it doesn't even look like it needs to be cleaned up, because when I had this rear cover off, it looked brand new inside. I mean, literally, it looked brand new, and it feels like this. So I don't know if this thing it had to have been run at least once because the carb was stuck. But boy, they must have cleaned it up inside because it's really pristine. So anyway, that's our engine talk video for tonight. And hopefully, you never know. I mean, I'm not saying hopefully. It could be the last mystery box of 2025. Thank you very much, Jeremy, for the engines. And I will do a 40 size shootout in 2026.